Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Najwa. I'm really happy you're here. If you're new here, please do me a favor, click the like and subscribe button, join our little community, click the bell, click the like button, the bell. When you click the bell, you can basically know whenever I post video. So let's talk about this Asian American doll that's out right now. I'm really happy to hear about this. I'm happy to see that we're getting more representation in dolls. I want a Fonnie Willis doll, I've already said. But a little anecdote here, a little story to tell you why I feel like this is important, and then I'm going to share an article with you. A little anecdote here, and then a little story why I feel like this doll is important, just from an experience I've had myself when I was a kid. Many of you who follow my channel pretty regularly, you probably already know this story. And then we'll take a look at this article from Axios that tells you more about the project. But kind of a heartbreaking story, but at the same time, it's where society was at that point, and it's what has gotten us to where we are today, even though there are many people who want to hold progress back. But when I was about 5 years old, and I've told you guys that I was such a huge fan of Disney when I was younger. I was really into all the Disney princesses. I had so many different Disney movies on VHS that I would watch over and over and over again. Had Disney Channel stars pictures on my wall, had posters of Disney Channel stars, and not just Disney Channel, but Nickelodeon as well. And Boomerang, I remember Boomerang was a thing back then. Not necessarily posters of them, but I was a really big fan of a lot of different of the childhood staple television show and movie characters back then. And I was about 5 years old, and I guess this is before my American Girl doll phase. I mean, I feel like when I got to about 8 or 9, it was more the American Girl doll that was a big phase, but around 5 or 6, it really was Disney. And my mom had planned to take me to the Disney store, and I was so excited. And this doll, it's not targeted towards Disney or anything like this. It's really just to speak more to the culture and how things evolve, you know. So my mom, basically, we're in the mall, you know, and we arrive at the Disney store. We're at the front of the store. And she basically, like many parents say when they take their kids to a toy store or whatever it is, she's just like, go crazy, you know. And so I just like, pew! I'm just like running all around the store. And, you know, at that point, parents they'll wait at the front of the store and just wait for you to come back and, you know, drag their arm to some aisle or drag their arm to go look at something. And in the past, that is pretty much what would be the case if I was really excited about something. And, you know, my mom would just be like, go at it. And then, you know, she'll just kind of linger behind me a little bit slowly. And then when I'm really excited about something, we'll kind of take a look at it and discuss it. But this particular time, I come back and I'm really sad. And I go, Mommy, there's no dolls in here that look like me. And my mom being the like Angela Davis activist that she was. I grew up in such a quirky household, y'all. She marches up, of course, to the store clerk and is like, my daughter just came to me and told me that there's no dolls in here that look like her. And to add insult to injury, the store clerk goes, well, we have Simone and Pumbaa. It's like, what? And then after that, you know, my mom goes further and she's like, you know, it's so difficult to be raising a young girl of color, African-American girl, and, you know, there's not any toys that represent them. You know, you would think in 1996 or whenever this was, she's like, you would think that things would have evolved from then. And the lady was like, well, we do have Mulan. So, you know, at that point, until we got Tiana from Princess and the Frog, and we got Tiana from Princess and the Frog into my adulthood, I can argue that I think by 2000, 2001, we had Cinderella, Moesha's Cinderella, but I'm not even sure if that was Disney. I'm not sure, but even still, you know, like, it just kind of shows you where things evolve. And to have toys that look like you is a big deal for kids. Because if you don't, if all you see, and I say this as someone married to a white person, but there was a time where, at least in America, like the majority of people were white. There weren't that many Latinos. There weren't as many Latinos as there are in the US. There weren't as many Asians. There weren't as many black folks, okay? But that's changing, you know? It's a way more diverse country. And the fact that now there are little Asian girls out there that have or had to go through what I went through back in the 90s, you know, I'm like, for this mom to be like, you know what, I'm taking this into my own hands, because to my understanding, she had gone to different toy suppliers before and said, you need to make an Asian doll that really, I think she had explained that there were dolls out there, but they were very stereotypical. But yeah, I mean, what happens is when a little kid, they don't see any dolls with their same attributes that don't look like them, they start to think that they're ugly. They start to think that they're ugly. They start to just think of themselves as a nobody, like this big loser who, you know, there's not even any of their toys that look like them. And they start to try to emulate those other people, you know, and it's very sad. So I feel like it was a really, really good deal that this mom was like, no, I'm not taking no for an answer, and I'm going to make this reality happen. So listen to this article that I pulled up. It's from Axios, and it is called, this is from July 27, 2023. It says, San Francisco mom launches new Asian American doll. And this is from Shauna Chan. It says a San Francisco mother is gearing up to launch a new Asian American doll named Jilly in a bid to fill a gap on toy shelves. The article goes on to say why it matters. Though U.S. doll lines have released some Asian American models, many still use white dolls as molds and rely on stereotypes like kung fu. Do you hear that? That's like if all the black dolls had fried chicken. It's like, come on. Like kung fu or exoticized features, according to JillyBing founder Eleanor Mack. It says research shows that dolls have a direct correlation with how young girls of color see themselves and their standards of beauty. Okay, like this is it's not just about kids, it's also about the adults they're going to grow up into. It's about one step into taking one more anxious, insecure, you know, sad, depressed, trying to live up to a different beauty standard outside of their own, not recognizing their own beauty, woman who's eventually going to go out into the world. You know, it's big. So it says the backstory. The idea for JillyBing originated last year when Mac, the mother of two young kids, began looking for dolls for their daughter Jillian, then 2 years old. But it seemed as if major toy stores only carried Asian dolls that were cartoonish or cliched, she said. I'm going to speak to this a little bit after, because I think that it has something to do with unconscious bias. And basically, if you want really good Asian dolls, sometimes you got to get Asian people up in there to make a good Asian doll. If you want a good African American doll, sometimes you got to get some African Americans up in there to give some insight. Same way, like if you're working on a movie or film, if you want some really well-rounded Latino characters, for example, you need someone who's Latino to kind of give some insight and to be the writer or to be a writer to help bring to life those mannerisms, those colloquial phrases, those idiomatic expressions, whatever it might be, those cultural tokens that really only a person from that particular community really understand. It goes on to say how it happened. Mac had worked in finance, but quickly pulled together a team to research the best way to reflect Asian kids' features. It goes on to say state of play. Jilly comes in a set with accessories, including a hat that flips into a little plush egg tart, which I love. That's amazing. She loves cooking with her grandma, but is also feisty, into sports, and proud of her Asian heritage, Max said. And when you look at the doll, honestly, she is adorable. I would have loved to have that doll. And I feel like kids today I've seen little, sorry to say, but I've seen little white girls with black girl dolls, the same way that I had white girl dolls. But you know, it's awesome when you can have all of them. You can have a doll that looks like you can have dolls from other cultures. You know, it's like it's opening up this bigger, brighter, more progressive world, the world, one that reflects the world that's out there happening, despite the chagrin of a bunch of kind of, you know, closed-minded people who want to stop that. I mean, you can't ignore what's happening. You can't ignore what's happening. The world is becoming more multicultural. It's opening up lines of communication across different bridges, different backgrounds, and who would want to stop that? As long as it's healthy, it's functional, it's open-minded, it's kind, it's empathetic. Why would you want to stop that progress? It goes on to say what to watch. JillyBing ships August 1st, so this is past that point. I think it's out now, but has already racked up pre-orders from across the nation. I want this doll. I'm a grown woman and I want this doll. The doll and her accessories cost $68. It says the big picture. When psychologists Kenneth and Mamie Clark tested children in the 1940s using dolls identical except in skin and hair color, they found that most black children preferred the white doll, indicating an early understanding of racial differences. I'm gonna end it there with the article, but I do just want to sum this up, kind of from a point that I was thinking, just to reiterate. I mean, this is not to give a pass to the white doll makers who've been making dolls since forever. But Mac is so smart in what she did because she took things into her own hands. And I mean, sometimes you have to do that because when people have lived in a way where they've seen people that look like them reflected on TV and their toys, as they get older, all around in advertising and marketing everywhere, you know, it becomes something that's so easy for them, and they might get an unconscious bias to where they don't even really think about, oh, you know, somebody else is looking at this, and they might start to think that they're not beautiful, that they're not worthy, that they're not even represented. So I think it makes sense. It's the same way that right now so many things in the United States that are happening where black people, where African Americans are being left behind in places across all types of places, like Hollywood, like, you know, government, like our different communities, like our civic engagement, like the news, like within middle management, you know, like, in other words, groups outside of our demographic aren't gonna advocate truly to the point that we can advocate for ourselves. And we'll get to a point where other people will advocate for people of other groups, but you first have to let them know, basically, like, we need to take a look at this. Can we open up this conversation? And once you open up the conversation, people are a little bit more inclined to understand it, you know. So, but I thought it was a real great move, and the doll looks awesome. I want to know what y'all think, so let me know in the comments. And if you're new to this channel, please hit the like and subscribe button, hit the bell so you know whenever I post a video, and I'll see you guys next time.